Hey there viewers, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Matt, and booting up on the screen is my IBM 5160 XT, which is actually currently fitted with a 286 accelerator card. The 286 accelerator doesn't make it into a full 286, but it does give it the 286 instruction set, which is kind of important for the game we're about to play, which I believe was advertised as XT compatible, but when I've played it on an XT before, it tends to lock up randomly and just be very unstable. The other thing I've done to this computer since we last used it, which I think was in Space Quest 1 or Space Quest 2 playthrough, is I removed the Sound Blaster, which we weren't actually using at that point, and I have fitted an Adlib card to it. And you can see we've still got a set blaster environment variable here on the screen, but it's going to ignore it because the game in question only supports Adlib. So the game I've chosen today is the good old Police Quest 2. So let's get that started. So Police Quest 2 was the sequel to Police Quest 1. It picks up pretty much directly after Police Quest 1 ended. You've been promoted to detective, but you're still in the Lytton Police Squad. Here you can see the Jim Walls has popped up in his little mugshot here. Jim Walls was responsible for the authorship of both Police Quest 1 and Police Quest 2. And you can see he's got his MO. I always quite liked how they did that. Producer is Ken Williams. Again, this is your standard Sierra set of people who are responsible for this game. So I'm not going to read through all the names, but you're welcome to have a look and pause the video if you are interested. I always love this intro sequence. It's very, very animated in the fact you've got the scuba diver and then you're running through the streets. Plus you've got that fantastic music in the background, which really does come through differently using well, at least in my ears, using a genuine Adlib. And you can see the music is responsible by Mark Seabird. He was also the man who did the music in Space Quest 3, among others I believe. So here we can see 1 year has passed since Detective Sonny Bond successfully brought Jesse Baines, the Death Angel, to justice. Baines' world of rampant drugs and open violence, the world he controls so well, has been silenced. As the memory of this animal slowly fades and the city of Lytton once again lives in the peace and serenity of its past. Officer Sonny Bonds has been promoted to the position of Homicide Detective. The day begins with Detective Bonds arriving for another routine workday, or so it seems. So Police Quest 2 was the first Police Quest to actually have copy protection, and when you bought the game you got like a little card which had different mugshots of different people. So if I go to my little card here, which I got with the original game, and we have a look, I believe this is Sims, by the look of it. There we go. If you give it the wrong answer, it says, sorry Bonds, you need to do better than that. All right. And this was a great advancement from Police Quest 1, not only with the graphics, but also with the gameplay a little bit. So it's still a type interface. So you need to do things like, look around. And then you're behind the wheel of your personal car. Marie talked you into trading in your sports car for this sensible compact model. But the main difference is, even though it's not point and click, they have made the interface a lot nicer in the fact you don't need to do things like drive around in a very, very tedious manner and do things like that. So in the car, we can open up the glove box. And in here we can then just look glove box. And in the glove compartment you see car registration and your LPD business card. So if we take the card, okay. I always love when you get a point in this. It's always that very upbeat doot 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 doot. Another good feature I love in this game. All right, so without rambling on too much here, in the glove box, we've also got our registration. We don't really need to take that because it goes with the car. So we can now close the glove box. And if we have a look at our card, we can see here your LPD business card. LPD Sunny Bonds Detective. With the resolution, they did the best they could, but you could sort of just imagine this being much better in real life. Okay, here's a little trick, and I took forever to find this out back in the day. If you go look reverse of card, it doesn't like that. I think I spelled reverse correctly, but I was going pretty quick there, so maybe I didn't. But even if you do spell it correctly, it doesn't work. If you go look back of card, you get a different display. 36, 4, 12. How many people back in the day would have actually thought to look at the back of that card? Because you would think if you type look card, it would show you the front and the back. But nonetheless, just like a lot of Sierra games back in the day, it's a bit punishing if you get the syntax wrong. So we just need to remember 36, 4, 12. We can now take our keys. You take the keys from the ignition. Fun fact, if you leave the keys in the ignition, it's random, but sometimes when you come outside, your car is just gone and been stolen because you left the keys in. Likewise, it also can get stolen if you don't lock the door. Bit of a classic. I won't actually, as much as I want to, play through and just try and get it stolen because it doesn't happen very much. It's like a 1 in 10 chance. But nonetheless, if you're playing through this yourself, have a go at it and see if you can get your car stolen. At this point, if you don't have the keys, I don't think you can even get into the door. But nonetheless, kind of funny. All right. So you can see we're going to the detective division of the Lytton Police. We have a multitude of doors sort of to our left and our right. But to begin with, we're just going to go through the door straight ahead, which is the locker room. Now, with trial and error, you can go through and work out which is your lockers, but easily enough, it's just this one on the end. So we're going to open our locker up. Then it's asking for the combination. So, 36, 4, 12. So if you hadn't looked at the reverse of that business card, you are in a bit of trouble. If you don't get into the locker, you don't get your gun and your handcuffs and all that sort of thing, and then you can imagine being a police officer without these tools, you're not going to get far in the game. So we can take the gun, we can take the cuffs, and up the top, if we just go look locker, you might be wondering what that is, extra ammo clips. I always thought they looked like cassette tapes, but we can also take the ammo. And just for fun, we can go look photo. You took this picture of the beach. Marie has signed it. Love Marie. What a girl. So Marie was from part 1 in Police Quest 1. Back then, I believe she was a call girl, we'll call it that. And you knew her from high school and you'd kind of drifted apart, but in the course of your investigation, you came across her again and then basically fell in love. And I think, yeah, I think at the end you sort of kissed her when you got your medal or something like that. But we get to see more of Marie later in the game. Over here we have some toilet stalls. If you want, you can open the door. We can do something like take dump. Mercy, I don't know if that works. Use toilet. Ah, that feels good. You don't get a point for anything. I don't think you can actually look at anything in here. A somewhat clean but not very interesting toilet is in the stall. I wonder if you can open this toilet. No, you can't. That's for later in the game. So we can open the door. But aside from that, there's not a lot else to do in the locker room. The next thing that's kind of prudent to do is that if we head across here to the right, we can end up in the shooting range. So if there's this guy here, we can talk to man. Hey, Sonny, Mills says, what do you need? Now, when you go to a shooting range, obviously you have a gun, you have some ammunition, got some targets, but one thing you really do need is ear protection. So you can type get ear muffs. Here you are, Ken says. 1 pair of ear protectors. Just return them when you're through. It's funny how he says Ken there, whereas it was Mills before. It switches between the surname and the first name. If we just kind of stand by this sliding door, kind of opens up. Sometimes there's other people in the shooting range, sometimes there's not. You just choose an empty bay, doesn't really matter which one. Awesome. Now if you use the arrow keys, you can kind of raise your gun and lower your gun and do all that sort of thing. So we're just going to lower our gun to start with, because otherwise you can't really do much. Let's wear those muffs. Okay. If you don't, you get a bit of a warning about your hearing protection. And if you fire the gun enough, you basically go deaf, I believe. This is moving pretty slow, so let's see if we can speed it up a bit. Faster, plus key. It doesn't really make any difference. All right, so we're going to raise it up. And the idea is we want to obviously shoot the target and get, you know, a pretty good grouping. So if we go to action, we can see we've got a few actions here. Load gun is F6, draw and holster is F8, and fire is F10. I don't think it's actually loaded. Now it's loaded. And then F10. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be enough. F8 to withdraw it. And if you go look buttons, there are two buttons on the wall of the booth. One is labeled view and the other is labeled back. So we can press view. Oops. Now you can see we're kind of off to the right and we're also down a little bit. So now we can adjust sights. So we've got the elevation and the windage. Now your arrow keys just do this for you. So I'm going to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 up, just as a guess. And then we can basically hit escape to get out of that. Replace our target. You replace the old target with a new one from the shelf below the counter. Now I can press return. Press back, maybe it was. Excellent. So if we use the F8 key, it raises our gun a lot quicker than just using the arrow keys. And again, we want to go kind of high up. And then we're just going to basically fire it until we run out of ammo. Okay, so it's only got 7 shots in the clip. Reload it. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. F8 for down again. And we press view. All right, so you can we're still off to the right. Definitely going to adjust it a bit more, and our height is about right now though. So adjust sights. I reckon we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be enough. Get out of that. Replace the target. Press back. Now we're just about out of ammo. I don't know if we'll get enough shots out of this, but let's give it a shot. Literally. Let's go for about there. Okay, we've only got 2 shots off, but don't think that's quite enough to qualify. So let's press view. We're still a bit off to the right. I reckon we can still adjust our sights. Just go 1, 2, 3. The height looks good. Place the target. So you might be thinking, Matthew, you just said, you know, this game is less procedural than Police Quest 1. Well, in this part, maybe it's not so much. So we're out of ammo, so we can remove the muffs. And just exit this. And we just need to get a bit more ammo. See, now we're turbo walking. So now get ammo. Now you can only ever have 2 clips, which is a bit annoying, but that's just the way the game's written. So now we can load our gun, we can raise it, hopefully this time our sights are good. Oh, wear the muffs. Oh, okay. Can't do that with the weapon raised. And raise our weapon. The F keys make this so much easier. So if you're playing this at home, just get to know them because it will save you a lot of time. So now we press view again. Now here the old we got a score. That means we've qualified. Now the trick is it only gives you a score the first time you qualify on your range scores. We have to do this twice. The second time is a bit trickier. I don't think you get a score prompt. You have to look for a grouping like that within the circles. You can choose the head if you want. It's a little bit trickier though. I usually just go for the circle in the middle. So just to be nice, let's replace our target. And then we're going to press back. Now for completeness, this is actually going to be a little bit nasty because I just replaced it. We're just going to fire off the last rounds in the gun because otherwise we can't get a new clip. Okay, so now if we load it again, we can then put it away. And then we're just going to remove the muffs. I'm going to leave. Okay. So now we can return the muffs. Thank you. We can also get more ammo. Okay, Bond says, Mills, here's one full clip of fresh ammo. So we can only ever carry 2 clips whether the gun's loaded or not. So at the moment the gun's loaded with 1 and we have 1 spare. It's not too bad. There's only actually 2 firefights in this game. As long as you've got 1 full clip, you're generally good to go. So I'm going to save the game here. And when this pops up, it can be a little bit slow on this machine because again, it only is a 286 kind of built on top of an XT, so it takes a while. So now you can see here, I've got plenty of games already saved because I've played this game through so many times that I've probably lost count. So we're going to call this qualified shooting. So yeah, you just have to bear with me a little bit as it saves because it is a little bit slow. As for the speed, I'm probably just going to go back to normal. It just feels a bit wrong in this game, going too fast. We'll get the full experience as the authors intended. So now you might be thinking, oh, okay, you know, what do we do now? Well, there's several doors here. Well, if we just go through this door up sort of in the middle, this is our office. Now on the back here, this is very much a 1990s and 1980s things to do. Always pays to look at the bulletin board. You scan the bulletin board and see the shooting schedule. Below the board is a rack of car keys. The shooting schedule indicates you're behind on your scores. So that was a prompt to tell you to go and do the actual range stuff, which we've done. As for the keys, well, we can take some. Remove the keys from the board. Now this is a bit of a dodgy one. If you go over to this desk over here, I think if we took a look around, it might give you a clue. This is the Homicide office. The Homicide office is equipped with 5 desks, a file cabinet, a locker, and various other items hanging on the wall. One of on the desks is a computer. If you go to look at this desk, this is Captain Fletcher Hall's desks. On it you see some folders and papers. If you go look papers, among the many papers on Captain Hall's desks, one catches your interest. You read. Passwords: Miami, ice cream, pistachio. So now you've got his passwords, which as I said is a bit dodgy. We can go over to this computer. Your partner Keith takes a deep puff and says, "Say, Sonny, I heard that dirtbag you sent up the river last year is back in town for retrial. Isn't his name Baines or something like that? Maybe this time you can put him away for the duration. It just seems like the garbage of this world gets every chance known to man. So Jesse Baines is who we put away in Police Quest 1 right at the end in the Hotel Delphoria. So we can use the computer. And if we turn on computer, commands. Now if we do a dir, so it's kind of models DOS here, we can see we've got criminal, Sierra, and personnel. At the moment we don't really need criminal because we're not investigating anything. Sierra I think gives you something, or maybe you can't get into that, or it might be some game demos, I can't remember. But we can have a look at personnel just for fun. Let's go personnel. Oh, CD personnel. I think this is at Miami. Nope. Ice cream. Nope. Must be pistachio. Okay, so I've just got into the personnel database. I'll do a dir. Now there's a lot of people on here. You can go through each of them just with the arrow keys and I'll open it up. But I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here to Lloyd Pratt, I think it is. Lloyd Pratt, Department of Narcotics. He's a detective. He was appointed in 1971. He's active. He's got a Medal of Valor, which is kind of cool. And how do we go to the next screen? Enter. Oh, there we go, yep. Wounded offer, got some citations from risking personal injury, saving a small child. Okay. Then you've got essential report for insubordination in 81, and then confidential, Internal Affairs Department P3109, current open for on-duty drug consumption. The rest of these you can go through, and I don't think it tells you anything kind of too crazy. But nonetheless, if you're having a play of this game, feel free to have a look. So, you know, I can go Kim Walters, pretty boring. No essential reports, Steve Jones. Quite a lot of stuff on there. I think some of these are kind of funny, if I remember correctly. So that one's pretty good. Jerome Williams. Good stuff. All right, so now we're going to go cd ... And then I think if we just go exit session complete. So Mr. Pratt works in Homicide. Oh, okay. So our main plot is about to start. Bonds. We have bad news. Jesse Baines has escaped from Lytton City Jail. Not only has he escaped, the captain says, but he took the jailer as hostage. Bonds, I've named you and your partner Keith to a special task force with the code name Target. How cool is that? The captain continues, I want you boys to answer any and all calls that might be even remotely connected to this dirtbag. The captain orders you, find a mugshot of that punk and get on this immediately. Now, mugshots are going to be in the filing cabinet. So if we go open cabinet, this might be a bit old school for some people viewing. So we take Baines' file. So there's Mr. Baines. You can sort of see here, got a bit of a description of him like you'd have in a normal file. Arresting officer was Sonny Bonds for murder and all that sort of stuff. And if you go through this, you can see it was all the storyline basically of Police Quest 1. So we can take a mugshot. Now remember, this is when he's arrested. This is not a recent mugshot. We can turn the page. So you can see here, after a lengthy investigation, Officer Sonny Bonds successfully infiltrated the illegal gambling operation at the Hotel Delphoria. Confrontation with Baines ended in a shootout and subsequent arrest. Suspect was convicted of first-degree murder. Further testimony provided by Woody Roberts, Marie Wilkins, Don Colby was instrumental in convicting Baines on additional counts of narcotics trafficking and gambling activities. So basically that's a complete wrap of Police Quest 1 right there. We can now replace the file because we're not allowed to take them out of the office. And close the drawer. Alright, so we need to just quickly sit at our desk. Just look at the tray. Look in tray. Look in box. Maybe that's later. So we need to unlock our drawer. And in our drawer, so you can obviously see there's a wallet. Take the wallet. And I think we can take the note too. Let's read the note just for fun. A thank you letter. A card from your good friend Marie Wilkins. On it is the message. Sonny, thank you for turning my life around. Love, Marie. So you can sort of see she went from a call girl and she's now turned her life around a little bit and got away from the drugs and all that sort of stuff she was into in Police Quest 1. Now close the drawer. And I believe we now get up. If we hang around too long, the captain gets cross with us for not doing anything. I'm sure we can look in the tray. Let's look basket. In your basket you see a subpoena. You pick up and read the subpoena. You are commanded to appear in Division 4 Superior Court of the City of Lytton as a witness for the people in the retrial matter against the defendant Jesse Baines. Notification of time and date will follow. You can't believe what you just read. Just as the memory of this rat was passing into oblivion, he's back for a retrial. And even more than that, he's escaped from jail. Alright, so now we've got the main plot. Baines has escaped from jail. We've got to get after him. But before we do that, let's do a little subplot here. This is the narcotics division. And I believe if we go over to this guy, let's go look, man. Lloyd Pratt looks like he needs more sleep. So Lloyd Pratt's the guy we just looked up in the computer. Talk to Lloyd. Appearing slightly out of touch with his surroundings, your old friend Detective Lloyd Pratt slowly looks up and says, well, if it ain't Mr. Homicide himself. So if we now go talk about drugs, I think. You quietly tell Lloyd about the ongoing internal affair investigation and you beg him to stop using drugs. In a clear voice, Lloyd responds to you. Sonny, you are a true friend. I didn't realize how bad off I was until I woke up yesterday morning and I didn't know where I was. I've made my mind up, Lloyd continues. Today I'm putting in for a leave of absence. Then I'm going to check myself into a rehabilitation center. Leaving Lloyd, you wish him all the luck in the world. You know he has made the correct decision. So, again, there's a little bit of a side plot there, just helping out a friend. Kind of helping him out in kind of a bit of a dodgy way that you stole the captain's password and looked up his personnel file, but, you know, kind of works, I guess. The other thing which used to get me years ago is, see here, there's like a bit of a table. If you actually, I guess, look table, I think it gives you a bit of a clue. You don't see anything interesting. I think if you look around, you're in Lytton's newly remodeled police station. This is the hall. There are several doors, a counter, and an evidence window. Maybe look counter. Built into the back of the counter are locked storage bins. One of them has your name on it. There we go. So if we open the bin, you see your field kit. Take the kit. Excellent. You never know when you're going to need your field storage kit. So now we've basically got all we need. We've got our gun, our ammo, our cuffs, all that sort of stuff. Got my keys, got my wallet with our ID in it. Qualified on the shooting range. We've helped out a friend. Now we need to go investigate Baines breaking out of jail. So this is our police cruiser here, this blue unmarked car. We can open the trunk because we have the keys. Now we put the kit in the trunk. Place your field kit in the trunk, close the trunk, and the end. Now we don't need to do the tedious walk around like we used to do in Police Quest 1, and we can just open the door, and try that, there we go. Unlock the door, open the door. Keith yells, "Wait up, Sonny, what's the rush anyway?" So Keith, as you'll see as the game progresses, is a little bit useless. He's always last to the party. He's always pretty lazy and not really doing anything. He continuously smokes, which is a terrible habit. And I don't know, maybe he just helps you out a little bit here and there, but he's kind of the Cedric of Police Quest 2. Okay, so we're in the car now. Now in the old Police Quest, we used to have to do the tedious driving around, but in this one, we can just go drive to jail. Yeah, grunts Keith. Let's see if they've managed to keep any bad guys in. Keith grabs the mic and calls dispatch. Dispatch, 53 Mary 2 is 10-8 from the office. Dispatch comes on the air and responds. 53 Mary 2, 10-4. Dispatch copies 10-8 from the office. Keith keys the mic. Dispatch, 53 Mary 2. Be advised we're en route to Lyndon City Jail. Dispatch answers. 53 Mary 2, 10-4. We copy you are en route to Lyndon City Jail. I always love the music in this part. While driving to jail, Keith comments to you, "Sonny, this escape has got to be a real nightmare for you." On the other hand, he continues, "it must be a super nightmare for that poor correctional officer." "Well, partner," Keith says, "I guess this means that the has hit the fan." Okay, so we got an emergency call there. So 53 blah blah. Keith grabs the mic and answers, "Dispatch, 53 Mary 2, go ahead with your traffic." "Where are you, Bonds?" you cringe to Captain Fletcher Hall's angry tone of voice. "You haven't followed your orders. Get back here now." After you acknowledge the transmission, that's strange. We got the mugshot of Baines and we went to the jail. "Hey boys," says the captain, "just in case you don't know, we have a police department to run. Now quit messing around and get to work." Having your undivided attention, the captain says, "For your information, Detective Bonds, it would be so ducky if you could check in with me once in a while just to see if I might have something for you to do." After a mild reaming, he says, "Consider this a warning, fella. You can go now." He told us to go to the jail, though. "You have your orders, Bonds." Can't spell captain. Oh, okay, that is very weird. Let's just try this again. We got our blah blah blah. Don't think the field kit must still be in the trunk. We've got the mugshot, don't we? Yep. Alright, let's see if we can get to the jail this time without the captain coming on the air. Yeah, that was a bit strange. That shouldn't have happened. But nonetheless, we'll continue on. So yeah, if you just got in the car and driven to some random location and not followed captain's orders, or just before you got the orders that Baines had basically escaped and you need to go investigate, That always happens. You go ahead, Stunny. I'll stay out here and have a smoke. So you can sort of see Keith is a bit useless. Now, we've got, if we just do a look around, I know exactly what these are, but for completeness, this is the underground parking garage of the new Lytton City Jail. You'll feel with pride as memories of dedication ceremonies return. Following your heroic capture of Jesse Baines, aka the Death Angel, you became an instant celebrity, but now, unless you recapture Baines, only the bitter memories of failure will remain. Alright, so let's go open locker. Didn't tell us what they were, but it is a gun locker. Put gun in locker. Close locker. I don't know if you have to take the key. I don't think so with this one. Oh, you haven't already. Cool. Press buzzer. The jailer speaks to you through the PA system. Booking desk, can I help you? Show ID, I think is what you need to do here. After showing your ID, you hear a loud metal clank as the jailer releases the door locks. It's important to have your wallet, which was in the desk, because otherwise you can't get in. Obviously excited, the jailer says, "Bonds, I can't believe what happened. I can't get over it. We've never had an officer kidnapped before." Continuing, Baines took Pate and escaped in Pate's car. "I sure hope he's okay. Poor kid. He's just a rookie, you know." "Heck, we just put this file together on Baines this morning, and he's gone already." Okay. So what we need to do is we can ask about the escape. "Yes," he said, "we have one man in custody who saw the whole thing. Saxton. Sherman Saxton is his name." The correctional officer continues, "Just walk over to the interview area and I'll call him out." The other thing we can do is ask about the jailer. Or ask about Pate. "Oh yeah," the jailer says, "you want to look at Pate's file. I'll go get it for you." "Here you go, Bonds. The files have to stay here, so give them back before you leave." The jailer hands you the file on Lewis Pate. So you can see here just a short document. Basically, hasn't been working here very long. So 87, I think the game's sort of like set in about 87, 88. He's on probation because he's new, no departmental actions. I think if you turn the page, he's got MAFEs, he's got a PR-24, which is a, it's like a, what do you call it, nightstick, and some handcuffs, but he also has a registered weapon, a handgun, a Smith & Wesson 38. Now that's kind of important. So we can return the file. Now, just for completeness, probably should have gone over here and gotten this guy first, but it seems he's coming out anyway. "You here to get me out of this joint?" Saxton asks. Ask about Baines. "I don't know nothing about the dude, man, really. But he does know about the escape." "Oh yeah, the escape," he says. "That dude Baines did a number on your little jailer friend. Baines jumped your little rookie while being moved. It looked like he was holding some sort of knife to the jailer's throat." "It looks so easy," Saxton says. "I mean, he just grabbed the jailer, put a knife to his throat, and sashayed right out of jail. Unbelievable." So now I can ask about Pate, I think, but he doesn't know much about him. Never heard of anyone with that name, man. I think I can ask about the knife. Yeah, that's right. I sure wish I knew where that came from. So that's about all you can get from this guy. Not super useful, but gives you an idea. And you can now get Baines' file from this guy. "Oh yeah, let me get Baines' file for you. I'm sure you want to take a look at it." No joke. "Here you go, Bonds. The files have to stay here. So we get the Baines file. Now what we can do from this though, you can see his mugshot has changed a fair bit. So we can take this mugshot, because his old one doesn't really resemble him because of the hair difference, and maybe he's aged a little bit, something like that. So if we turn the page, this is the same file, I believe, as it is in the police station, which it is. So we can return the file. Perfect. Now there's no point asking about the jailer's gun because he's not allowed it on the premises. However, we need to know that he had one because it might be relevant. Oh, actually, there was one more thing. Press buzzer. Almost forgot. Show ID. I believe I can ask about car. Perfect. So remember he said he sashayed on out of here and he took off in a car. That's easy, he says. Pate's car is a blue 86 Corvette with personalised plates that say wow. Alright. So that's useful. Right, so now I think we've got all we need here. We can open the locker. Take the gun. Close the locker. All right. So we've got a bit more information here. We know the car that Baines stole. We know that the jailer had a gun registered to his name, so Baines may now have a gun. And what do we also know? Probably that's about it that's useful. We got an updated mugshot of Baines, which is good. So now we can open the door. Keith kind of ambles in. Now, I'm just playing this game from memory. There's no walkthrough in front of me, so I might miss a thing or two. And if I do, please post it down in the comments. Nothing's going to be super critical, but it might be where I lose some points. So now I need to radio about the car. Pete, maybe. Let me just use radio. There used to be a way I was sure that you could radio out about to be on the lookout for Pate's car. Maybe they've already done it. Okay. So let's drive back to the station. So yeah, if I lose a point or two, it's because I haven't radioed quite what I need to radio at this point. But that's okay. So I won't bother reading all the dispatch through every time since I've done it once. If I'm correct, it should pop up and divert us from the office to somewhere else. There we go. 53 Mary 2, we have further traffic for you. Traffic Officer Haynes has located a vehicle belonging to the correctional officer at the Oak Tree Mall. Per Captain Hall, respond to the 1020 and 1198 with Officer Haynes. Dispatch clear. So now we drive to Mall. Oak Tree Mall. Boy, do I know that place well. My wife spends half my paycheck there. Classic Keith. Mercy, mercy, Keith says. We almost had that bulldog for a hoodoo ornament. Can you believe the cars they give us to drive these days? I think I can get better acceleration for my 10-speed bike. Oh, classic. Keith contacts dispatch. 1097 of the Oak Tree Mall. Alright. Keith says, look, Sonny, there's Haynes. This is definitely the CO's car, Haynes says. It's been sitting here a while though, he continues. The engine is cold. Sonny, I'm going to take a look around, Keith says. You go ahead and check out the car. Haynes says, I think I'll go check around a little. There may be some witnesses. Love that sort of like investigation tune in the background of this part too. Fantastic. Okay, so this is where we need our field kit. Now if we open up the field kit, it tells you what you've got. Here we go. Your detective's field kit is used to carry various things you'll need in the course of your investigations. Plastic baggie, small camera, casting plaster, glass vial, eyedropper, fingerprint powder, fingerprint brush, fingerprint tape. Alright, so take photo of car, don't think it's necessary. Click. There we go, look car. You look at the jailer's car and think, a well-kept vet, what a nice blue colour. So now what we can do is go to the door and we can dust handle for prints. Not worth processing. We can dust the door for prints. Alright, so now I can open the door. Now I think if we dust handle for prints, none worth processing. Dust mirror for prints. Dust the wheel for prints. Dust the gear stick. None worth processing. Ooh, there we go. So we dusted the glove box for prints, carefully applying the dust powder and mumbling to yourself, here's one worth taking. Use tape on print. Using the tape, you carefully lift the print. Cool. I don't know if we'd have to take a photo here. The photos, I think, are only for the crime scene later on. So now we can open the glove box that we've lifted the print. Maybe take a photo here. Look, glove box. In the glove compartment, you see bullets, empty holster, and car registration. So we try and dust the holster, nothing worth processing. Might have to do dust bullets. Okay, so nothing worth processing there. So let's look at the holster. You look at the empty holster and ponder the whereabouts of the gun. You retain it for evidence. Look bullets. Looking the ammunition over, you think, 3 rounds of 38 caliber. Better hang on to this for evidence. And then if we look glove box again, you look at the registration. After confirming the name Lewis Pate, you return it to the glove box. So you know this is definitely his car. So now we can close the glove box. That's pretty much all we can gain from this interior, from what I believe. We can look under the seat, I think, but find nothing. Search seat. Look floor. Maybe try look seat. No, so that's it for this. Generally speaking, when you find one of the cars in this or something like that, there's usually one fingerprint at least and some evidence. So now we can close the door. And here comes Officer Hamilton, I believe. Or Haynes, sorry. "Hey, Sonny," Haynes shouts. "Looks like Baines may have taken another car. This lady says her car has been stolen." So this can be important. "I figure you'll have some questions to ask her," says Haynes. So ask about car. You ask for the description of her car and she says, "Oh yes, it's a 1986 compact Chevy station wagon. It's black and the license number is C035. "Oh, that's all I can remember, officer." "I'll take it from here, Sonny," Haynes assures you. "You've got your work cut out for you." So we're pretty much done here now. We've got a print, we've got some evidence. We know that he's got the jailer's gun, or very, very, well, highly likely he's got the jailer's gun. So that also means something. And also, we know he's probably stolen this woman's black station wagon car. At this point, we can open the trunk. We can put field kit in trunk. Close the trunk. At this point, looking at the time, it's been about 50 minutes, so it's time for a save. And I believe it's also time to end off part 1 of Police Quest 2. Up to now, we're pretty much at the point where Baines has escaped. We know he's stolen, well, likely stolen a second car, and he's likely got a firearm. Let's just call this one at Oak Tree Mall. Cool. Now that we know he's likely got a second car, we can use our radio when we get back into the car in just a second, which will be part 2 for you guys, just a second for me. And then we can radio that in, and then we can be on the lookout. At this point, I want to thank you so much for watching the playthrough of Police Quest 2. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. If you've got any comments or memories of playing Police Quest 2, or things that I may have missed or done wrong up to this point, please post them away. I'd be very interested to read them. Also, if you've enjoyed this, please consider giving the video a like. It really does help promoting the channel and all that sort of good stuff. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'm going to catch you soon for part 2 of Police Quest 2. See you later.